Hello and welcome to RevWheels, where enthusiasm meets expertise. Now we all love road trips. Well, because it's never really about the destination, it's always about the journey. So you have the open roads, you have lots of cutting chai, and of course you have the possibility of exploring new places. So what's not to like, right? However, the dynamics of a road trip change considerably when you have an electric vehicle in the picture. So you have to think about the range, you have to think about all your halts, where you'll find a charging station, and of course you have to drive in a certain manner so you get the maximum range possible. So can you really have an anxiety-free road trip? Well, we're about to find out. Now for this trip, we decided to use an EV from the mainstream segment and one that's selling like hotcakes, the MG Windsor. Now the MG Windsor, it's a CUV, or rather a cross utility vehicle that's basically a mix of a hatchback and an MPV, and that makes it ideal for a family of 5. So let's talk about the destination. So we're headed to Surat in Gujarat. Why Surat, you ask? Because we love food and we're ready to travel for food. And also Surat is known for its food because of its diverse cultural influences and also its street food. Also Surat because it's far but not too far. We wanted to see what a 500 odd kilometer journey feels like in an electric vehicle. So this is basically like testing the waters before we do something really big in an EV. So we're cruising comfortably at just over 100 kilometers an hour. Talking about the figures, the motor drives the front wheels and puts down 136 bhp and 200 Newton meters of torque. Now these numbers aren't the best in class, but as a comfortable family car, the Windsor has enough juice. Power delivery isn't brutal like in some other EVs, but more linear. You can feel a relaxed push as the speed starts to build. Sport mode makes things more urgent but not aggressive. The Windsor feels extremely comfortable cruising the highways, and the only thing we thought as a negative was the highest road noise. The steering feels good too, and it weighs up as the speeds get higher. Another important parameter for road trips is the ride quality. Now the Windsor, being an EV, is expected to perform best around city confines, but that's not the case. The Windsor has a pretty decent ride quality even on the highways. It's a bit on the stiffer side considering the springs have to deal with almost 2 tons of curb weight, but it's comfortable on most surfaces and even takes in the bad stuff nicely. Just finished our first food halt, which was at Sasuma's Gujarati Thali, and we're absolutely stuffed to the brim. And now we need to juice up the MG Windsor. So we're here at a charging point in a mall and we're charging it. As you can see, it's a quick charger, so we're already up 28%. Now let me talk about the range. We did about 258 kilometers since we left Bombay, which gives us, and it showed us a range of about 35 kilometers and about 16% left. So realistically speaking, I think the MG Windsor will do about 300 kilometers in real world conditions. And let me specify on real world conditions, we've driven the car normally. We haven't taken any special precautions to drive it slowly or get the max efficiency or something like that. We were cruising at about 80 to 100 kilometers an hour. So going by that standards, I think 300 kilometers is a very good range considering the 38 kilowatt hour battery. Now the MG Windsor is juicing up. I think I'm a little tired. I need a little rest. So I'm going to take a little nap while the MG Windsor juices up. While we're at it, let's take a look at some interesting features. Let's start here in the middle. That's a small screen, isn't it? Excuse my sarcasm, but that's the biggest screen you'll probably find in any car. 15.6 inches, and it literally controls everything, including that massive panoramic sunroof. The ambient lighting and these tufted seats all come together to give you a lounge-like experience. And let me tell you, it is. Storage is great too. You have plenty of cup holders, a center storage, and a total of 579 liters of boot space. During Ramzan, Surat Causeway transforms into a paradise for non-veg food lovers. Bustling with stalls offering a variety of flavorful dishes. You can savor juicy beda roti, succulent chicken tikka, and crispy fried chicken fresh off the grill. Aromatic mutton biryani and the rich nihari are also popular, drawing crowds with their mouth-watering spices and tender meat. Sweet treats like malpua and firni add a perfect finish to the feast, making the causeway a lively and delicious destination during the holy month. So we're finally done with our Surat food tour, or rather touring with EVs episode 1. Let me talk about the food first. Surat was absolutely fantastic. If you ever want to try fantastic street food, I don't think you can get better street food anywhere else. Surat was brilliant. You can just have a look at all the things that we tried, and I think everything was fantastic. We can't just say that something was average or something was just good. Everything was fantastic. The street food here is brilliant, and you should try the street food here. Now the food part done, let's talk about the journey. So we've done about 305 kilometers, and now we're on our way back. We charged the car at about 258 kilometers, and I think this should take us, it has enough charge to take us home now. So like I mentioned before, a real world range of the MG Windsor is about 300 kilometers, which is brilliant. Now overall, I think we can tour with EVs. It's not a problem. Range anxiety shouldn't be a problem as long as you know where the charging stations are. Now that is where the problems begin. Now we did find quite a few charging stations on the app, but then in a lot of places they weren't working. The apps had problems, or there were payment issues with the app. So I think the charging infrastructure still needs to be a little more refined, because in case you don't plan it well, it could be a problem. And with EVs, it's not like you just fill up petrol and just move on, right? So that needs to be looked into. But apart from that, as far as the vehicle is concerned, we are absolutely in love with the MG Windsor. 300 kilometers is a decent range for any electric vehicle, and considering how comfortable it is, you can just travel straight up and then charge when you take a lunch break or something like that, and then just find a quick charger like we did, the 60 kilowatt hour charger, 1 hour tops, and it's full charged and you're back on your on the road again. So like I mentioned before, charging with EVs is possible, and with the right infrastructure, a little more refinement, a little more help from the government, I think this is touring with EVs is definitely possible. Now, about touring with EVs. This was just the start of our new series, and hopefully, we're going to come up with something a lot bigger. So, stay tuned for this. And before we end this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the RevWheels channel so we can keep bringing you content like this. Ciao.